Okay, this is the double garter stitch from Barbara Walker's second Treasury of knitting patterns. So the first stitch for the prep row is to knit the first stitch and wrap your yarn around the needle once. And then every stitch after that, when you knit into the stitch, you're going to actually wrap your yarn around twice. So that's what they mean by making loops. You're wrapping the yarn twice when you make your knit stitch. And you're going to go all the way across. You're going to do this into every stitch, including the last one. And then you're going to turn your work. So when you turn your work, the first stitch from the other side, so this is the stitch from the previous row, it's this loop here, now has two wraps sitting above it. So these are your loops. This is your first loop and this is your second loop. So your first loop you're actually going to knit into, and you're going to wrap the yarn once and you're going to knit it as if it's a knit stitch. And then you're going to look at your next stitch, which is your next little loop sitting here, and you're going to knit into that first loop again, but you're also going to take the second loop from the first stitch with it, and you're going to wrap twice. So here's my third stitch. I'm going to take that loop and the wrap left over. And you're going to do this all the way across to the last stitch. I knit quite tightly, so I find that it gets quite tight, but I try to keep myself loose so that it doesn't get so tight that I can't move my stitches nicely. You're going to go all the way to the end. And with the last stitch, you're going to do exactly the same thing. You're just going to treat it as if it's a loop from the first loop from the next stitch. You're going to go into it twice, just like you did, and that gives you that great little crisscross pattern and the double garter. So on the other side, you have the beginnings of the garter stitch along the back. So if we go back one more time, we're going to knit into this first loop, wrap the yarn once, and then we're going to work our way back across. Wrap twice. Now this is where you really have to figure out which is your first loop and which is your second. If your stitches start getting, if the loops start getting crossed, you need to take the time to figure out which is which. Otherwise it's going to start looking not quite like a nice double garter crisscross in between your garter ridges. So you do have to be careful about that. If you lose one of your loops as you're pulling off, if I was to lose that, just put it back on like a yarn over. And last one. And once it blocks out, it's quite a lovely pattern, and you've got your double garter. And that's it.